All right, I'm going to stand here, recklessly at the edge of the stage. I'm going to quickly introduce our panelists, and then we're going to get rolling. I'm also going to grab my iPad with the questions. On your left is Nicole Maldonado with LULAC, then David Pilchman with the League of Women Voters, then Felix Linden with Midtown Rotary, and then Rachael Crawford with the Plaza District Association and Plaza District Business Alliance.
Yes, sir.
All right, that's close enough. Rachel's also really excellent at karaoke, and we're not going to do that tonight because I'm terrible. That's another thing. Friends, I have a couple of things to tell you. One, thank you for coming. Two, surprise, you're at a club meeting. I'm so glad you're here. And three, we're going to talk about clubs and why this is important. Four, Bob Putnam makes smoking a pipe look cool, which is something I didn't think could happen anymore, but I have one at home. Maybe I'll take it up. Well, I'll visit with my wife later. So we got to share mics. We got 3 mics and 4 of you, so we'll go. All right, Nicole, I'm going to start with you. So our first question for everybody is just off the cuff, what resonated with you most from the film? Specifically, there's the central thesis of the film, right, is that Americans have become increasingly disconnected from civic organizations. Does that ring true or false with you? And what's your experience like?
Yeah, hello everyone. Thank you for being here. Thank you, Andy, for the opportunity. Something that resonated with me the most was the word unglued. I really think that we are unglued Americans right now, especially because I see, as president of LULAC, I see a lot of issues when it comes to retain community members. It's so hard for them to keep showing up to our general meetings, to our events. They can come 1 time, 2 times, but then they get so disconnected. But at the same time, in the documentary, they were saying that it's so hard nowadays for people to find that time because, we work 2 or 3 jobs in order for us to survive, for families to survive. Everything is getting so expensive. Groceries are getting more expensive. Gas is more expensive. To buy a house is, for me as a Gen Z, is impossible right now for me to afford to buy a house. So, all of these things, and this is kind of like the mindset that young people have right now, is like, should I dedicate my time to a club or to a job that is going to give me money and maybe hopefully achieve the life that I want to have someday?
Yeah, it's so funny. I resonated with that too, where I was like, I would love to join more clubs, but I got bills.
Exactly. And luckily, I get to work in something that I'm very passionate about, and I get to do something that I love to do, and that's why I'm involved in all of these things. But not everyone has the chance and the opportunity to just be involved in things that they love, just because they just don't have the capacity, sometimes mental capacity as well.
Yeah. Before you pass that mic to David, can you tell us what LULAC is?
Yeah, so LULAC stands for League of United Latin American Citizens. We are the chapter of Oklahoma City, and LULAC is actually one of the oldest organizations that fight for Hispanic American civil rights in the United States. So if you guys want to get involved right now, you can find us on Instagram and Facebook, LULAC Oklahoma.
It's slightly important right now. David, how does that resonate with you, the film?
There was a moment, well, first, I was noticing all of the bowling and thinking of how expensive bowling is today. It is a luxury item if you can go bowling today. But I also work for a theater, Oklahoma City Repertory Theater, and something that we always say is that we're always competing with not other theater companies or other entertainers or other things to go see, but we're competing with people's couches. We're competing with people's phones, with their home time, to get them out of the house. And so we are also an entertainment thing that costs money and it's hard to get out. But that resonated with me, the idea that, and I also love my TV. I love my trashy reality Netflix shows. I will rewatch them, but that doesn't get me out of the house and connecting with more people.
Yeah, me rewatching The West Wing for the 5th time is connecting, but not as much as it used to be. I feel you.
I'm into The Circle right now, if anyone's interested.
You can start a club about the circle.
I think I might.
Yeah. Felix, how about you, man?
First, thank you for having us here today, Andy, and thank you everybody for coming out tonight. Really do appreciate it. As a teacher in Oklahoma City Public Schools, I teach, and one of the things I get a chance to do is impart to my students what I think they'll need for success, not just in a job, but in just social life in general. And I do believe that there's a reason why when you go to college, they say you can join any group. We want you to stay on campus. We want you to be involved so that way you'll be more successful. And so I just believe that we have to find a way, as educators, me specifically, is just try to find a way to give kids opportunities to connect and feel a sense of purpose and a sense of belonging earlier on, because I believe that connection that you create at an early age will stay with you. I wasn't an athlete, but I was a band nerd, and band was my thing that I was a part of. And so I don't teach band, but I teach service, I teach leadership, and I believe that whether you're in a band or you're an athlete, service is the one thing that we all can be connected through, and I think that's what will help build our citizenry. And I think that by doing that, it'll help them stay connected later on. And so just hopefully that we can establish those connections to other people will hopefully make it easier for us to survive as a people later on too.
Yeah. Man, Felix, you just tapped into something with me that I had suppressed for the last 25 years, I think. When I was in college, when Bob Putnam's book first came out 25 years ago, I was not in any clubs. I was not a joiner. And I had not even thought about that to this moment. And now I'm like convicting myself. I'm like, why didn't I join things back then? America's falling apart because I didn't join clubs in college.
Well, I know when I went to OSU, I was like, I'm gonna be an Afro M. I was a DJ on the radio. I was at homecoming. I wanted just to get the most out of my experience, and I think you get the most out of your life by being a part of other people's lives.
Yeah, no, the reason I didn't is that I had a job. I had to pay for college, and I had to work. All my friends were in clubs, and I was like, I'm a roofer. But now I regret it a little bit. Rachael, what resonated with you?
I'm gonna tell y'all right now, whenever I came in here, I was going over these notes and I was gonna answer the questions because Andy sent them to us. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I need my notes up there. And as I tuned into the film, which I had not seen before tonight, I was like, I don't need these notes because I was feeling so inspired and I felt at times very disconnected from the film. I am a queer woman in Oklahoma, and I was looking at the film like, yay, bunch of straight white guys talking. And then we started to get through other minorities talking about their shared experience and them creating what they desired. Take the black woman who had the bike club. Kind of reminds me of a Hike and Go bike. And it reminds me of Oklahoma Pride Alliance. And these are volunteer organizations where the motive is not profit, the motive is community. And what resonated with me is I had to beg my board president, my current board president's in here, John Milner, and this is so amazing that my board president and then my board member Ryan Rudbach is in here. Our whole board needs to see this, both boards. When we were trying to come back from the pandemic, and when we talked about this, because I recently celebrated 4 years with the Plaza District, I remember trying to get people to the Plaza District on a Friday night in November 2021. It started in July 2021. And there was no one at 6:30 p.m. on Friday night in the Plaza District in November 2021. What I was determined to do, I said people are craving connectivity. There's a physiological response that I personally feel being in community and with small business owners and the neighborhoods, Gateway, Class, and Tintin, and all of these nonprofits we can work with. So I was like, we gotta keep focusing on the events. And when we kept focusing on the events and bringing people together, not on always marketing the district, it was the community events. Now, like tomorrow night, we'll have an event, Skate Plaza. It's celebrating a subculture of skaters in Oklahoma. We will have 8,000 to 10,000 people there. That, to me, yeah, it's great. I just firmly believe that apathy is not an option. And I can speak from experience of having co-parented children. I don't have any biological children of my own, but being in a relationship versus like me being single again now, there is a tremendous difference in capacity as a parent or as someone who maybe works for a nonprofit, which I do. I live paycheck to paycheck. It's just the nonprofit sector. I understand how hard it is to build community, but that doesn't mean that we remain apathetic. because we all need connection, and this is how we rise up. And seeing a reference of the Gilded Age, I was like, okay, there are better times coming than what we feel now, which I feel exhausted most days.
Yeah, that's exactly right. In the movie, Bob Putnam talks about social capital, right? So the networks of relationships that makes communities function. When you look at Oklahoma, let's come back this way, so I'm starting with you.
Okay, I'll be shorter.
Yeah, that's why I'm telling you, you're fine. Where do you see that our social capital is the strongest, and where do you see some gaps?
My only frame of reference is Oklahoma City. I've never lived anywhere else in Oklahoma. I moved here in 2012. It's so hard for minorities to organize. And I can't, I'm Greek and Italian, but I am part of the queer community, and I am a woman. But I can't even imagine right now if you are someone whose family or friends or colleagues are being affected by ICE raids and all these really serious, heavy things. That is such a disadvantage when you have to do so much to have just equal rights and your safety protected, and your family protected. And in Oklahoma, a lot of institutionalized groups seem to get the most support. So you have to get really creative and scrappy. And we have that here because there's a saying that I always say, again, I'm gonna speak from my sphere of reference, the LGBTQ community. Adversity breeds community. And just fun fact, we have the highest concentration of lesbian bars in the country, right here in Oklahoma City. And that makes me really proud. So.
That's great. Nicole, can I go to you next? Show that mic. Specifically because of Rachel's comments there, I'd love to hear your response.
Yeah, I think that, you know, I've been in Oklahoma for 6 years already, and something that I have seen is that Oklahomans, Okies, they come together in times of adversity, in times of crisis. So for example, right now, just last night, we were at the Veto event, and there was around more than 2,000 people just in the whole farmers market. And we were like thinking, where are all of these Democrats when it's time for voting, right? When it's time to elect city councils or elect school board members, or just when are all of these people where they are when it's time to participate. So I think that Oklahomans have that good sense of fighting and care for one another, but I think one of the gaps is, again, the continuously showing up. You know, just having that discipline or, I don't know, commitment to keep showing up for your community. And just something that marked me from the documentary was Kennedy saying, you know, it's not what your country is gonna give to you, but what can we give to our country? And I was just taking notes because, you know, as president of LULAC, I was like, this is what I need to tell my volunteers every time that they come to our meetings, you know? Is just remember, what can we give to our society? What can we give to our country? What can we give to our community, right? How can we make it better? And then just come back to that sense of community and love for one another. Because I think that, you know, the reason why I see so many unglued and individualistic sense of communities right now is just because we lack of solidarity sometimes, and we don't know how much privilege we have right now and how much privilege we hold, right? Like right now, like I am an immigrant, but I'm a US citizen, and that's why I try to use my voice every time that an undocumented person cannot, because I have that privilege. So sometimes like we live in this bubble and we don't realize how much privilege and how good we can do if we just use those privilege and uplift one another.
Yeah. Felix, can I come to you next with the same question about where do you see social capital the strongest and where do you see the gaps?
So I'm a lifelong Oklahoman. I've been here all my life, Oklahoma City after I graduated early 2000s, and so I've seen our city grow exponentially, and I've seen how you can be involved in our city. I was an Oklahoma City product of Oklahoma City Public Schools, and I remember how bad our infrastructure was, but I also remember that the response to that was maps for kids. I remember how bad downtown was, but I remember maps. And so I specifically feel like our city is being proactive in a way that other places aren't. And but in order for that to be successful, people have to be involved. So we'll put forth things that will improve quality of life, but in turn you have to be involved. And even if you don't vote, you still get a chance to participate in those things. And so I definitely feel like that's one thing Oklahoma City allows for us to do. Whether you are working at the Plaza, LULAC, League of Women Voters, we all can be a part of what's going on in Oklahoma City in a real major way. I feel like our people are accessible. But because of that accessibility, I think sometimes we get into a situation where we still keep ourselves isolated from other communities and the plight of other people. But I think that's a bigger topic outside of the movie.
Fair enough. David, I'm going to come to you with the next question. So you're the new incoming chair for the League of Women Voters in Oklahoma County.
Yes,
People may have noticed you're not a woman.
that is true, yes.
Because they accept everybody. I'm also a member.
They do, yes. You don't
I
have to
probably owe
be
you
a
some
woman.
dues,
Oh,
actually. So
Forgive me.
it's tough, as like several people have alluded to. It's tough to keep things going. It's tough to keep people involved. The league has been around for a long time and has had an ebb and flow of membership. How are you strategizing around how to enable people to stay involved, to get involved and to stay involved in your organization?
That is the question I think we are all asking ourselves about all of our organizations. Honestly, I've been thinking for a long time about like all of these groups, and we have so many civic groups in Oklahoma City, and we all cater to specific areas, and we do silo is maybe the word I use, like instead of isolation, because it's just you're so hyper-focused and there's so much going on, you have your own jobs and trying to get involved. For me, it's really just stripping away like what is expected of us and try to form more community of like who we are. What is it that we have in common? We're all people, we live here, we need to know each other's names, we need to know our neighbors' names. But we have seen a decline in membership and activity, even our, several years we're trying to get more active in what is it that we need to provide for our community. And I think that's the question that I'm gonna be asking as the president. I'm not here to say, this is what we're doing and how we're doing it and follow me or not. It's what do you want to do? How do you want to get involved in the community? What libraries do you want to sit and have weekly voter registrations at so we see the same people all the time? We start making more connection inside the community. What you said about individualism, I think that's something Oklahoma really prides themselves on sometimes, is that we are a rugged individual, we don't need the help, but I'm there to help you when you need it, but I don't need it. And so I think that trying to just have the conversation of it takes all of us, you're not alone, let's see each other more regularly and not just in the crisis moments, being more consistent in each other's lives.
Sure. Felix.
Yeah, I was gonna mention that I'm a member of Midtown Rotary, and one thing I really take pride in our club is that we have women in positions of power. Our last 4 or 5 presidents have all been female. Our board is comprised of about 12 individuals. We have LGBTQ representation. I'm on the board as a project chair. We have all the decades of ages on it. I mean, it's very intergenerational, and I just love the diversity that's found in Rotary. And historically, it had always been what another Rotarian told me: male, pale, stale, and frail. But that ship has set sail because now women have not been allowed to participate in Rotary, and black people and all minorities. I just think that is part of what I think it showed the evolution of people. And they realize that we're going to survive, we have to open our doors up. And so I just believe, I never did a fraternity or anything like that. I just thought that organic relationships that center around what belongs, what's serious to me, and service is a serious aspect of my life. And I believe that Rotary allows me to do that while being in a diverse group of people. So every Tuesday night, McNally's in Midtown. Your first water's on me, after that you're on your own.
That's so funny. I think what everyone's kind of saying, right, is that relationships matter, right? We might all be aligned around an issue or policy or something, but when it comes down to brass tacks, it's about our relationship with each other. some of you guys know, my background's in psychology. I went to school for psychology. I'm still a licensed professional counselor. We can talk about your mothers later. But what I learned from that is that like, everything really comes down to relationships. And when I started becoming involved civically, that's not a word, but I'm using it, in 2016, it was because I was like, well, I think we should just go talk to our state legislators. Like, they don't know me from Adam, but if I go talk to them, at least we've met face to face, and I can ask for something or tell them what I support or oppose. And then if I follow up again, like in a few weeks, and then again in a few months, and they start to see my face regularly, well, now we've got a tiny bit of a relationship, and in that relationship, there's some power to be had, right? Because stranger, you know, if a stranger comes up to you and says, I don't know, support open primaries, you're like, okay, great, like, I would like a sandwich instead, I'll see you later. But if it's someone you know who can say, hey, here's this thing I care about, here's why, and you can have a conversation with them, it's a very different conversation than it is with a stranger, right? Same thing if I'm looking at Yelp and I see a review from Matt that says this place has a good club sandwich, I'm like, I don't know who Matt is, unless I do. And I'm like, but you know, I know Matt knows about animals, and he might know about sandwiches too. Those are not related, necessarily. And pets and sandwiches are usually not related. And then like that might be the thing that I'm like, well, I know him a little bit, that might be okay. I might order that sandwich. And so that's where the power of relationships comes in. And I think that's why clubs are important, right? Like the film is not about building wealth in like a financial sense, it's about building wealth in a relational sense. All right, we'll kind of move towards the end here. Rachael, question for you. The film argues that social media and digital connection can't replace face-to-face civic engagement, but surely, I know, social media plays a role in your work and how you build community. What's the sweet spot you found between digital tools and like in-person community building?
I have not found a sweet spot. Like, let's just be honest. There are times where I'm like, I'm spending way too much time on social media, and I should only be using it professionally to promote things in the Plaza district on my own, especially on my Instagram. Shout out at Okie Songbird if you want to find out what we're doing, and at Plaza district. But I do find that social media will never, in my opinion, replace in-person connection. There's just an energy that makes you feel alive and makes you feel loved and makes you feel seen. Yes, social media can do some of those things, but it's not real. Where I find social media is most impactful for me personally and is the opportunity to bring people in. I talk to my social media audience and my story like we're friends. And if you like it, great, you're my people. If you don't, it's okay. Like, you're gonna like somebody else's content. And I give a glimpse of how easy it is to get involved in nonprofits here in Oklahoma City of all walks of life. And just being approachable and also being responsive. I do like 80% of my networking and business to bring different ideas and concepts and festivals into the Plaza District or into Oklahoma Pride Alliance or into other initiatives I'm working on through Instagram. It's easy. It gives me a glimpse into somebody's life, and I know, they do that one thing. I should go ask them if they want to be part of something at the Plaza, or maybe I can show up for them. It helps me connect. But it's so important to pause and go, can we go get some coffee or show up to stuff like this? True story, I was at the district pool right before this, and my friends begged me to stay. I said, do you even know who Andy Moore is? I would do anything for him. Like, absolutely. And it's because I know you more in your work through Instagram, and then we were neighbors, and now we're neighbors again, and just making time to connect with you and show up for each other, that feels really special. I feel honored to be here.
I smoked that pork butt, and you came and got some.
I did!
Because my wife was very grateful of it, because we had a lot of smoked pork at the house. My wife doesn't eat it, and she was like, what are you going to do with this? And I got someone coming to bake some.
Briefly, there's a book called it's Blue Fishing, The Art of Making Things Happen by Steve Sims. Has anyone ever read that before? Oh my gosh, game changer. Brad Porch with Corey's Indy, who I believe has won an award for one of the best CEOs in Oklahoma City for a minute. I asked for book recommendations. He recommended it. I read it. Don't overthink connecting with people and reaching out. Skip the formalities. Get like this
Yeah.
smoked meat. Heck yeah, Andy.
Yeah, right. Just be normal. Don't fret.
Or weird.
Or yeah, just be weird. That's really what it is. Just be weird. Nicole, same question for you, because I know you do a lot of social media outreach, and as a Gen Z person, how do you strike that balance?
I'm gonna echo a lot of what Rachael said. With LULAC especially, we use it for outreach and also delivering messaging. You know, so for example, right now, when there's something happening with immigration or like our community, it's like the best way that we can reach out people and reach out our community. We do bilingual as well, so that helps a lot. I've seen that our reels, they just like have such like, 10,000 views, 11,000 views. I'm an organizer, I'm a community organizer, so if I'm working on a rally, a protest, a town hall, educational, a town hall, that's like the best way that we use is just reels and videos and Instagram, Facebook. But just like Rachael said, like sometimes I just have to pause myself and I put my phone on not disturb. I just don't check my phone for like 3 hours, 2 hours, because it can be also very overwhelming and it can cause a lot of anxiety, especially right now with everything that is happening. So for example, something that I did is I stopped getting my news from social media and I just choose the TV. So I watch news in the morning or in the evening, and that's where my news source are right now, because the social media was just so overwhelming. So yeah.
I recently discovered the Oklahoma Farm Report on OATA. I don't know how I slept on this for so long. It's so nice. My wife's like, "What are you watching?" I was like, "Corn. I'm watching corn growing. It's corn sweat time." Like, it's so fascinating. And it's the kind of news that I need right now. All right, so last question. This is going to be for all four of you, and I'll start with David. If someone after this walks up to you and says, "All right, you guys won me over, I'm convinced, I need to get involved, but I don't know where to start," what's your immediate practical advice to that person?
Well, after watching this movie, I'm gonna be like, join a club. Figure out what you like, find somebody else who likes it too, and do that thing together. And if you don't find a club, make a club. We've started Bike Boy Club of Midtown with me and my buddy Zach. We do 6:30 in the morning on Fridays, and we only bike for 20 minutes, because that's what my body can handle right now. But we are starting that, and I appreciate you, and it's just finding that connection to then we can find other bike people. And then they said it's a slow burn, the bad is always out there. You gotta look for the good, and the more that you can find that good and make that part of your everyday life, you can change that for somebody else. And that's what I'm telling you.
Yeah, great. Felix, practical advice.
Yeah, oh, hello? All right, so what I would say is, one, don't make it hard. It doesn't have to be big to be impactful. It can just be something as simple as connecting with your neighbor over pork butt apparently now. I want in on that too. So, but then also, again, never underestimate the power of an invitation. I think when we invite people out of our sphere, every Tuesday night, I'm like, hey, I'll go on Facebook Live and say, hey, look, I'm going to go to Midtown Rotary. Here's where we are. If I don't see you tonight, I'll see you next week. But just come and join me. And I believe that, there's a level of vulnerability that we have to all employ. But then also, when we see it, we have to react to it and respond to it in a positive way, and realize that people want you to be connected to them. And at the end of the day, we have to find a way to just connect. I've noticed that for every down here, there's uphill. I think we're on this. It can't get any worse. So I think we have to realize that. But the only way for it to get better is for us to get connected and find people that not necessarily believe the same way, but at least have some belief that we can be better together. And I just think that's I'm Pollyannish. I'll teach my kids that, my students that. And I just think that we're in for better days because we have each other, honestly.
Can't get much worse. Rachael.
You forgive me, because you were asking, like, what would I say to somebody that's
What's your practical advice for someone who wants to get involved now?
Wants to get involved now? This is the moment where everyone's feeling really inspired, I hope. That's how I felt after watching the film and then listening to everyone's answers. don't let that excitement and enthusiasm escape you once you leave these doors. And I'm not gonna tell you, go to this website or go follow this on social media in this moment. If someone came up to me, I would ask them literally for exchange contact information and keep it real and actually like try to invite you to something personally. That's how I operate, and it stands true in this room because I could just guide you to a website or something, but no, like actually connecting with you to get to know you as a person, even if it's just over coffee where I say, come to Skate the Plaza tomorrow night. It's 5 to 10 p.m., all ages, free, because I want you to experience what we're doing. And then maybe that spurs them to volunteer at Plaza Fest. And maybe that spurs them to committee service, board service, things like that. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, also if you have ideas of stuff you want to do, that's a thing too. I got an email today from someone who said, I want to get involved with whatever you've got going on, let me know. And so I wrote her back, and I was like, what do you really want to do? And she said, I really like doing research. Well, that's not like on our volunteer list of activities. And I was like, but we always need people who will spend time to do some research. And so we're going to have a meeting to talk about what that looks like. Because that means I have more time to do other stuff instead of like sorting through campaign donation data or something. Yeah.
Yeah, my advice, especially for the young people that I see in the crowd, we all have a calling, you know, it can be, I don't know, from animals to democracy, to food, you know, to anything that you're just passionate about. We all have that passion inside of us. So just listen to your body, listen to your mind, listen to what you want to do and how you want to give to your community, how you want to serve your country, how you want to serve your people. And then just like, you know, find that cause and pick that cause and just show up to an event. The first step is show up, and then please continue to show up. That's what we need. Continue to participate. Continue to show up for your people, show up for your friends, show up for your community, show up for those that cannot show up right now. So yeah, that's my best advice. Just show up, don't overthink it, just do it. And now is the time.
Yeah. Can we have a hand for our panelists tonight? As we wrap up, I just want to remind you that your best memories are with other people. No one sits at home and thinks, my best times were when I was alone. It is always with other people, right? So whatever you've got clinking around in your brain tonight, you're thinking, maybe I'll do something, maybe I could do a little bit more. Yes, you can. Yes, we can. We can be more involved. I will be self-promoting for Front Porch Forum. 3 excellent organizations you can get involved with tonight. Indivisible, they've got a table out there. Cindy is up here in the front. Talk to them afterwards. The League, obviously with David and the other members that are here can be involved with Let's Fix This. We would love to have you. We have started leaning into this. So we're doing a monthly happy hour every 3rd Friday, which is next week at Skydance Brewing over by Midtown, downtown-ish. It's 4 to 6 next Friday. Show up, hang out. There's no speaker. I might say a few words, but there's no like programming. You don't have to learn anything. Just come, have a drink, beer or not, whatever. There's food around. Just hang out with people. We've had about 30 people the last 2 months, which has been rad. And it's been hot and sweaty, and we all love democracy. My friend brought her 3 kids, and I had leftover pizza, and it was like just community hanging out. It was really good. And I realized how much I missed that. So please come. We do it every month. We're going to start a monthly coffee meetup for the same thing, for those of us that are early risers. We've got this every first Thursday. We're starting to get a regular beat here, right, where we can come together and find opportunities to hang out around different topics. 2, right, so you're 1, everyone raise your right hand. I state your name. We'll get more involved. I'll leave it. I'll let you, maybe not you, Nicole. I, except for Nicole, will get more involved. And I will invite 1 friend. That's the thing, right? You guys see the signs that say, like, please invite your friends to church? That's fine too. But I just want to make them and say, like, please invite your friends to vote. Please invite your friends to next month's movie club. Like, just do something. Invite 1 friend who might be interested in this. Even if they're not interested, okay, you saw a movie. Like, not every, I saw Garfield, it sucked, but like, not every movie's good. That's okay. They can come and be inspired and learn something too. So, those are the 2 things. Come back and bring a friend. Sound good? All right. Thank you so much.